Time to get on Diddy time, baby. Time to get on Diddy time. I'm taking control of this. Yeah. That's what I gotta get into those beat, nothing else matters. That copy, nothing else matters. Get the spirit, nothing else matters. Gotta get into that spirit. How am I bringing it into my heart? How am I bringing it into my heart?
Listen, never ever in my entire life have I ever seen a dude get that amped up off of putting on the baby oil. See, y'all thought that he was over there just trying to get glossy when that ninja was over there getting... Hey yo, thanks for tuning in to The Source, your source for celebrity news. Check this out. The other day I was just sitting in here and I started thinking about Diddy. And I was like, yo, this dude is really surrounded by the cloud of death. Because I was like, yo, how is it possible that every one of his baby mamas has had an ex-boyfriend who has passed away under mysterious circumstances? For example, Misa Hilton's boo, Alpo Martinez, who was in the process of making a tell-all documentary about his life when Misa and Mary J. Blige, was murked at 3:30 a.m. on Halloween night in 2021. And although they claim that a guy named Shaquem Parker deleted him, Shaquem was later exonerated, which means we don't really know who murked Alpo.
He was one of the city's most notorious dealers, famous since the 1980s for his murderous ways and mountains of cash and drugs, immortalized in dozens of rap songs and the movie Paid in Full. But it all came to an end for Alpo Martinez right here on the streets of Harlem, right where it all began. These are exclusive photos of Alberto Alpo Martinez on previous visits to Harlem in recent years. But his latest visit turned out to be his last. On Sunday about 3:20 a.m., police were called to Frederick Douglass Boulevard near West 147th Street. A dark red pickup truck crashed into parked cars. The driver was shot 5 times in the chest through the car window.
And then, Kim Porter's newest boo, Shakir Stewart, allegedly deleted himself under very suspicious circumstances after some unknown person was blackmailing him and threatening to expose him by releasing a videotape which supposedly had some evidence of him doing some very unsavory things on it.
In 2008, Shakir Stewart would replace Jay-Z as the executive vice president of Def Jam Records. Before he accepted the position, he had the contract for 2 weeks before he signed it. Upon signing, he reportedly told people close to him that he felt like he made a deal with the devil. Previous to this position, Shakir was responsible for signing Sierra while he was with LaFace Records and Rick Ross and Young Jeezy while he was with Def Jam before becoming executive vice president. Before his death, it's noted that this new position brought him a lot of stress with the downturn in music sales not helping at all. Reportedly, L.A. Reid, the chairman of Island Def Jam at the time, had a 3-hour meeting with Shakir and would inform him that he no longer had his position. Before his death, Shakir is said to have been taking Ambien and was very paranoid about the feeling of people out to get him. Shakir would ultimately be found dead in his home after pulling the gun on himself. Was it because of the depression from his job, or was it the result of a messy love triangle? We may never truly know.
And then, last but not least, we all know how Sarah Chapman's ex-boo Tupac passed away back in the day.
And we begin with that breaking news at the top of this hour. New court documents show that Dwayne Keefe D. Davis accused hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs of paying $1 million for the killing of rap icon Tupac Shakur. According to the court documents, Davis claims Combs paid Eric Von Martin the money. He also says that Combs offered to set up a phone call with Terrence Brown, who was the driver of the car that rolled up next to Shakur and Suge Knight on September 7th, 1996, near the Strip. Now, Davis says that he was telling on himself and not trying to provide evidence against anyone else. He's accused of orchestrating the plot to kill Shakur. A trial date has been set now for some time in November.
I mean, as I was thinking about it, I was like, dang, how in the world do all your baby mamas have exes that got exed? And I know, somebody's gonna come in the comment section like, nah, Sauce, because Dana Tran doesn't have an ex who got murked. So far she doesn't, but if the other billionaires who are on Diddy's freak-off tapes ever feel like he's getting ready to cooperate with the feds and name names, Diddy just might get Epsteined over there in jail. And then Dana Tran also will be added to the list of Diddy's exes who have an ex that got exed. Now, y'all know me, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist, so I'm not saying that the diddler necessarily did anything. But I am saying that since the day that Diddy threw his first celebrity basketball game at City College back in the day, where 9 people passed away, the angel of death seems to follow him. And for some reason, that angel of death also has a tendency to affect his baby mamas too. I mean, it's absolutely crazy because when you look closely at some people's lives, you actually start to see some patterns. Listen, let me know what you guys think. Is it weird that every one of Diddy's ex-baby mamas has an ex that got exed? I mean, does that mean anything? Or are you over there like, nah, Sauce, that's just coincidence? Now, someone who does seem to believe in conspiracy theories is Dr. Umar Johnson, because the other day he jumped online to claim that everything that's going on with Diddy is linked to a conspiracy against black billionaires. Check this out.
Now, for those of y'all who know how to think deeply, what do Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, Sean Combs, and Kanye West have in common besides being accused of sex offenses? They're all billionaires. They're all billionaires. They are taking down all black male billionaires. Look at what they're doing to black male billionaires who don't bow down to the power structure.
Now, after Dr. Umar said that, a whole lot of people came in the comment section, and one person said, 2 things can be true, people, and then somebody else was like, so the fact that the wealthy black man is committing crimes has nothing to do with it, and then somebody else was like, when did R. Kelly get $1 billion? I know, right? As soon as Dr. Umar said that, I was like, what? Maybe R. Kelly had 1 billion pennies at one point, but not 1 billion. Anyhow, while it's quite possible that the shadowy figures of the power elite are going after black men with wealth one by one, we can't ignore the fact that Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, and Diddy committed atrocious crimes. I mean, we know for a fact that Cos and Kells essayed women and young girls, and Diddy has allegedly done the same plus more. So, perhaps part of the problem is that despite the fact that these men may be under attack, some of our black men don't know how to act when they come into money. See, when I was growing up, my mother always instilled in me that when you go out of this house, you better be above reproach, because there are going to be people out there who don't want you to succeed. So don't give them any ammunition to use against you when they do come after you. I'm saying this to say that even if the power elite were after billionaires like Cosby and Diddy and billion pennyers like R. Kelly, all of these men wouldn't be locked up if they hadn't put pills in the pudding, GHB in the baby oil, or tried to recreate their own rendition of The Wiz in the studio. In other words, even if the power elite were coming after all of these black men who are billionaires, all of these black men who are billionaires sure did make it easy, now didn't they? Listen, let me know in the comments. Do you agree with Dr. Umar when he says that this whole Diddy debacle is only happening because Diddy sued Diageo and the power elites wanted to shut him down? Similar to the way that YouTube shut me down yesterday because I was over here talking politics. Or do you think that Diddy's in jail right now because Diddy committed some heinous crimes? Or do you think 2 things can be true at the same time, Dr. Umar, but one thing does not negate the other? Because the fact that Diageo and the power elite might be coming after Diddy does not negate the fact that Diddy was kicking Cassie down that hallway like a football, and Diddy may have in fact essayed more than 130 people. On top of the fact that when the feds went into the crib, they found pink cocaine and semi-automatic weapons with the serial numbers filed off. I mean, come on, Dr. Umar, you just can't be making your argument but ignoring those important facts. Similar to the way that you seem to be ignoring that school that you supposedly built. I mean, real talk, who builds a school from scratch and then still has mad time to be posting mad videos on social media? I mean, come on, Dr. Umar, the kids need you. But since we brought up schools, let me mention one school in particular. A lot of times we complain about what schools aren't doing for our kids, but I want to give a quick shout out to a principal named Deborah Nettleford, who's the principal of Martin Van Buren High School in Queens, New York, who is going above and beyond and out of her way to not only teach the students their ABCs and 1, 2, 3s to get them college and work ready, but is also creating a culturally competent school that also provides a safe space for students to explore their artistic abilities and creativity. Check this out.
Well, students in Queens are getting the chance to create and record their very own podcast.
All right, Fox 5's Stephanie Bertini shows us how an old classroom was transformed into a state-of-the-art recording studio at Martin Van Buren High School.
High schooler Christian Otero is interested in music production.
Producing music, writing music, composing.
And now he and others who study here at Martin Van Buren High School have access to professional equipment.
It's been a long time coming.
School principal Deborah Nettleford says the state-of-the-art equipment came here after a collaboration with an organization called Creative Hope Studios, dedicated to making creative arts accessible and bringing this professional-level studio space to the classroom.
They can do the podcast and they can do the recording. So many of our students are so want to be involved with that.
So, hi, my name is Nashley.
Student Nashley Nicole has been focused on exploring a future in media for a while.
Podcasting, journalism for sure.
And working with this kind of equipment is allowing her to expand her growing skill set and the range of her potential as a talent. She reflects on hearing her voice recording after using a microphone.
I was definitely shocked to hear it, like on the mic.
To hear your voice?
Yeah, to hear my voice. But I think over time you just get used to it.
Media and journalism teacher Stuart McLeod says the new equipment changes the dynamic of the classroom.
I think it raises the stakes for the students and makes it more worthwhile, more interesting.
Music teacher Michelle Grexer says the professional-like space is feeding the potential she sees for the future.
Creative Hope Studios came in and trained myself and the other teacher in this room and a couple of students on how to use the fantastic equipment that's here and how to use the podcasting. So it's a learning process for everybody.
Creative Hope Studios co-founder TJ Griffin tells Fox 5 News our recording studios give kids opportunities to learn writing music, producing, recording, graphic design, video editing, and podcasting. Many students struggle in the traditional classroom, but they excel in the arts and creativity. The school principal says the new equipment not only enhances media exposure for students, but also her bottom line.
What I want my students to leave here with is that, the sky's the limit.
Yo, let me tell you something. Those students and that administration over there at Martin Van Buren are making me proud because they figured out that times are changing, and if you're going to keep students engaged, you have to change with the times. So, not instead of learning the curriculum, but in addition to learning the curriculum, this principal, along with her staff and the students over there at Van Buren, have taken the initiative to create a studio that allows students to explore their creative juices. I mean, I like it. I really like it because every student doesn't learn the same way, and this offers students who may have a different learning style or have different interests yet another door, or should I say studio, to access education. So, shout out to Principal Nettleford, the staff and students over there at Van Buren, and hopefully more schools will see what she's doing over there and implement similar programs and tools in their schools too. Listen, nothing pleases me more than to see educators who really understand and care for our kids and provide them with the tools and resources that they need to succeed. Because I'm telling you, every student is not going to be a lawyer or a doctor. Some students are going to be podcasters, R&B singers, and hip-hop artists. I love it. And hopefully, with the addition of studios in schools, maybe some of these kids in the next generation will learn how to rap again. Because I swear, if I hear the same little nursery rhyme with the same cadence over a different beat one more time, I'm just going to go crazy. Anyhow, speaking of rappers, the other day Cardi B jumped online to come to Tyra Banks' defense after some younger social media users called Tyra a bully for how she used to treat the contestants on America's Top Model back in the day. Cardi was like, what are y'all talking about? Tyra was just keeping it real and teaching the contestants what they needed to know if they wanted to be models in the real world. Check this out.
Y'all been dragging Tyra Banks so hard because apparently she was very harsh to the girls. She was very hard to the contestant. But to be honest with you guys, when I think about it, it's just it is what it is type thing. Like, it's like, let me grab my composure. And y'all be talking about like, oh my gosh, she did too much. She made the girls change their looks and all this and that. You remember when Tyra Banks used to make you do tasks and shit? In real shows, they make you do shit like that. Like, it's like you gotta fucking walk around with a shoe that's bigger than yours, so you gotta be gripping your fucking toes like this. Or then you gotta probably wear a shoe smaller than that. That's smaller than your
You did it. You had to do it for about month.
Yeah, I had to fucking do that shit. I had to do that shit 2 times for the Balenciaga show. The shoe fit me too big, so I had to grip like that. The runways be so fucking long. Like, I've seen every single time I turn the kind of like, it's like the about to break, the about to break, the about to break. So you have to you like the challenges that fucking Tyra Banks used to give these bitches is the shit that happens in the real fucking world. The thing about it is y'all complain about it because the internet has made y'all motherfuckers soft. See, everything is a complaint. Oh my God, they put the girl through so much. It is real life. It's real fucking life. Sometimes you gotta walk in 9-inch heels and on top of water. In real runways, you know, Paris shows, they like to get real creative with this. They want you to work on fire and all that type of shit. Then on top of that, remember when she used to make take the trains She used to make take trains and shit and everything. That's some real shit. A lot of these models don't get paid, and you have to be on time. You have to. All right. So if an artist have to be on time to a show because they close the door on you, they don't give a who the fuck you are. Imagine a model. They gotta be doing all the different type of. You gotta be on time in everything.
Now, after Cardi B shared her thoughts, a whole bunch of people came in the comment section, and one person said, as insecure as Cardi is, she's the last person that would have survived Tyra's A&TM judgment sessions. And then somebody else came through and was like, this new generation wouldn't last 1 hour on America's Next Top Model. And then after that, somebody else came through and said, can you imagine what she went through as a black woman in the fashion industry? And then last but not least, somebody else came through and was like, I love Cardi. She's just so funny for no reason. Listen, I think that a lot of people are forgetting that the world that we live in today is not the world that we used to live in yesterday. Nowadays, 60-year-olds are walking around with iPhone 16 Pro Maxes, and they throw tantrums if they don't have their Starbucks vanilla mocha chai and vegan muffins. But back in the days, we had to dial 10 digits on a rotary phone with one finger. And we didn't have mocha lattes, we had Nestle's Quick and cornflakes. And if we didn't have any milk in the crib, we had to put water in the cornflakes and eat that ish like it was delicious. So yeah, I think that Cardi B might be right on this one, because I think that some of the kids that came of age in this digital age might just be a little soft in some areas. Not all areas, but some areas. As a matter of fact, source, can we please see an old clip of Tyra Banks scolding one of the contestants?
Tiffany, I'm extremely disappointed in you. This is a joke to you. You've been through anger management. You've been through your grandmother getting her lights turned off to buy you a swimsuit for this competition. And you go over there and you joke and you laugh. This is serious to this, girls.
I can't change it, Tyra. I've been... No,
you can't change what?
I'm sick of crying about stuff that I cannot change. I'm sick of being disappointed. I'm sick of all of it. I'm not.
You're not sick of being disappointed,
Yeah,
Tiffany.
obviously I am.
No, you're not. Do you know that you had a possibility to win? Do you know that all of America is rooting for you? Do you know that? And then you come in here and you treat this like a joke? You come in here and look at that and say, I can't read that. You read, and you come in here with a defeatist attitude.
I don't have a bad attitude. Maybe I am angry inside. I've been through stuff, so I'm angry.
Yes, but it's not, this is not, be quiet,
but
Tiffany.
everybody,
Be quiet. That's what is wrong with you.
But you're not.
Stop it!
Look, I remember the night I was watching that like it was just yesterday, and I don't think that Tyra was too difficult on Tiffany. I think that Tyra really wanted Tiffany to win, and she was so disappointed that Tiffany was over there blowing the cheddar that, like a mother who knows how much potential her kids have, but she sees her kids jacking it up, she just had to say what she had to say the way she had to say it, because sometimes you can't coddle somebody and give them a hug and be like, okay, it's gonna be okay, let me say this nicely. Sometimes you gotta say something the way you gotta say it. So to me, that right there wasn't bullying. That right there was something else altogether. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you agree with me and Cardi when we say that's not bullying? Or are you over there like, Tyra's a freaking bully? Now, although I get shadow banned every time I talk politics, I don't think that they're gonna shadow ban me if I tell you what Usher baby has to say about politics. So, check out what Usher had to say the other day when he threw his vote behind VP Kamala Harris.
I'm supporting Vice President Harris because she fights for everyone's rights, for freedom. But we got work to do, Atlanta, to get this campaign across the finish line. We can make a difference in this election, Georgia. Are you ready? We've lived through some very unfortunate realities of our past. However, we must learn from those moments. We have to strive to not allow our past to define our future. Let's vote for a future, ladies and gentlemen. A future that we want them to thrive in. I love you more, but I love Kamala Harris even more.
Let me tell you something, if Usher baby knew like I knew, he might want to vote for Trump, because after the feds open up them Diddy files and they get him in that room and he's like, these are my confessions. Usher might need one of them Trump pardons. Listen, I would love to ask Donald Trump what he thinks about Usher throwing his support behind Kamala Harris, but I can't, because Donald Trump is at work right now. Will y'all check out Donald Trump over there rolling his sleeves up, putting in a hard day's work at McDonald's making some fries? Watch this.
My first day at McDonald's, I'm looking for a job.
Mr. Trump, what's your favorite thing to order at McDonald's?
I like it all. I like every ounce of it, everything. But I do like the French fries where I'll be working.
Mr. Trump, why did you feel it was important to come here today?
I love McDonald's.
That's good.
Well, that's a good looking group. Hello, everybody. This is all on Trump. Oh, look. I'm allowed to do that, right? Yeah. It's going to be the best yet. I made it myself. I like this job. I think I might come back and do it again.
All right. So after Donald Trump went to work at McDonald's and put in a hard day's work and showed everybody that he's a every man's man, a lot of people came in the comment section and one person was like, can he stay working there? And then somebody else was like, I would love to see this man as a McDonald's worker for the rest of his life. And then after that, somebody else came through and was like, he's so effing cool. I've never seen anyone quite like him. He likes their fries. Strong. Listen, you see how all of those people are at the window all happy to see Trump and he's giving them their fries? I would like to see if they have that same energy like 5 minutes after they drive down the street and they reach in that bag and they take a fry out and they realize that they have some McHair in their mouth. Because that ninja sure didn't have one a hairnet. Oh my goodness, this is hilarious. Because all of those people who are out there at the window are going to go from like honking their horns and be like, oh my goodness, Trump is the best, to being like, oh my goodness, what is that? A strand of yellow hair? This is nasty. I am done. But for real, if you rolled up on a McDonald's and Donald Trump was in there making the fries, would you order the small, the medium, or the large McTrump meal? Let me know in the comments. But did you know that according to a new New York Times article, when Donald Trump was in office, his former aides shielded the presidential doomsday book from him because they felt that if Donald Trump had access to the information in that book, Donald Trump would just go bananas.
Brian, welcome. I understand that you interviewed more than a dozen national security officials from current and previous administrations. That includes 5 of them being from Donald Trump's. Tell us what you found out about the doomsday book and what's in it.
So we talked about the doomsday, but particularly people who had worked for Donald Trump in the national security arena when he was president. They're concerned about him learning the specifics of the extraordinary presidential powers that are available to him under extreme circumstances, like the event of a major catastrophe, a nuclear attack, for example. And these powers are outlined in a secret book inside the White House that's known as the Doomsday Book. The technical term for it is the Presidential Emergency Action Documents. And it's a stack of papers that's kept in a secure location on the White House grounds. And what it does is it's taken 40 years of legal review and legal opinions to look at what powers does a president have based on the Constitution and laws that have been passed to keep the government going under extreme circumstances, like Congress gets completely wiped out or there's a nuclear attack on a major American city. And there's concern that Trump, if he becomes president again, would exaggerate a catastrophe and try to turn to these powers in order to extract revenge against rivals or exercise presidential power in an extraordinary and unusual way.
And you also wrote, Brian, that when Trump was in office, his national security staff worked to keep him from learning the full extent of these interpretations of presidential authority. They were concerned that he would abuse them then, let alone what could come. Who was involved in this effort? I'm just curious, who was like, we've got to keep these details from Trump? And what was their biggest concern about him?
So as I said, I talked to about 5 people who had worked closely with Trump on his national security staff in the White House. And they had said that they had intentionally tried to make sure that Trump wasn't briefed on these particular powers that are to be used in the event of a nuclear attack or for continuity of government. So I spoke with Mark Harvey, for example. Mark Harvey was a career official on Trump's NSC. He was in charge of resiliency policy at the NSC, which is thinking about how the country could move through such a devastating attack. And he actively tried to prevent other officials from letting Trump know exactly what powers would be available to him under circumstances like that, because he was nervous that Trump would exaggerate a situation and use that.
You know something? I don't care what side of the aisle that you stand on. This right here is scary, because this isn't like the Democrats being like, yo, don't let him see the book. This is his own staff that's like, yo, whatever you do, don't let that ninja see this book. Oh my goodness. And let me tell you something. This scares me for more than one reason. 1, I don't know what he would do if he got the book. But then 2, I like my president to have all the information. When my president's in office, I want my president to be in charge. Because if he doesn't have access to all of the information, then who in the world is actually running things? Now, I can fully understand the concept of checks and balances when it comes to like the nuclear codes. You don't want any one person having all of that information at the same time until such a time when that code is necessary. But when you're telling me that his staff didn't even want him to have access to the emergency playbook, that right there is worrisome. And now, that brings us to Nicki Minaj. I don't know why it brings us to Nicki Minaj, but it does. The other day, Nicki Minaj was doing an interview, and during the interview, Nicki wanted to make it perfectly clear that she is among one of the first artists to name her fans. Check this out.
Do you know that all these artists that give their fans names now? When I started calling my fans the Barbs, there were no rappers naming their fans. There were only two people at that time, Justin Bieber and Lady Gaga. They had Beliebers and Monsters. Now every single human being that becomes an artist gives their fans a name. Even artists in other countries, I didn't even know that. Like some of the African artists that I love, they would have names for their fan base. And I was like, whoa, this is, I mean, I didn't think it was something that would spread to the hip hop community at all, but it doesn't matter because the Barbs are still superior.
Okay, so after Nicki Minaj said that, a whole lot of people came in the comment section and one person was like, love Nicki, but this isn't true. Lil' Kim had the Beehive and even Beyonce herself said she had the Beehive first. And then somebody else was like, Lil' Kim had the Beehive, Trina had the Rock Stars. And then after that, somebody else came through and was like, Lil' Kim referred to her fan base as the Beehive. Please, stop acting like you birthed anything. Listen, I like Nicki Minaj, but first off, this isn't true. And then second off, I'm sitting over here like, so what? What do you want? You want a cookie? You want some ice cream? I mean, who really cares who named their fans first? We got more important things to talk about, like Lord Jamar, who apparently got home, and when he got home, his wife was giving him that look. So, he got in the bed, and he issued the following apology to Kamala Harris.
Peace, it's Lord Jamar. I recently come under fire for calling Kamala Harris out of her name. And as a man, I'm going to admit when I was wrong and that I did cross the line. Yes, I shouldn't have called her the names that I called her. And after watching it myself, it definitely was cringeworthy. And I would like to just extend my apology to her and all those that felt offended by my comments. Yeah, you know, we have to really be mindful of where our words can travel to. And just like a bullet, once you release them, it's hard to take them back. So I'm here to say, yes, I understand the criticism of me, and all I can say is pardon me. I'm offering my apology, and you know, in the future, I will not speak of her in such a way, whether I disagree with her or not, and you know, attempt to not speak about any women in such a way, to be honest. Again, my apologies. She is Madam Vice President, whether we like it or not, and that's how she should be addressed. Peace and love.
Alright, so number one, I really appreciate the fact that Lord Jamar had the decency to come back out and apologize to that woman for calling her out her name. Because we can't have our black men out here calling a VP a biatch, even if you don't agree with her policies. But I still do have a little problem, because Lord Jamar called Kamala Harris a biatch on a platform that got 1 million views, but yet he apologized from his bed on his personal platform, which gets like 1,000 views, which means that 999,000 people still didn't hear Lord Jamar apologize to Kamala Harris for calling her a female dog. Because like I said yesterday, I don't care whether or not he agrees with her policies or not. He still needs to respect her as a woman. And as a black man, I mean a 5%er, he knows he wasn't raised like that. But that's one of the issues with social media, and that's why you gotta be really careful what you say. Because it's like squeezing the toothpaste out of the bottle. Once you squeeze it out, you can never get that toothpaste all the way back in. Listen, let me know what you think about P. Diddy rubbing that baby oil all into his skin to get hyped up. Most of Diddy's exes having exes that passed away under mysterious circumstances. Dr. Umar claiming that there's a plot against black billionaires. The principal and students over there at Martin Van Buren High School in Queens, New York, turning an old classroom into a music studio. Cardi B defending Tyra Banks from people who are calling Tyra a bully. Usher throwing his vote behind Kamala Harris. Donald Trump putting in like a whole 60 minutes working at McDonald's. Donald's staff saying they had to keep the Doomsday Book from him, Nicki Minaj saying she named her fans first before all of these other rappers copied her steez, and Lord Jamar jumping back on the internet to apologize to Kamala Harris for calling her a yacht after he received mad backlash from people who were like, yo, who you calling a beep? Listen, let me know what you think about all of that in the comments, and while you're down there leaving a comment, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel and share this video with your friends. Hey yo, thanks for tuning in to The Source, your source for celebrity news. Peace.